So good evening, everybody. And yes, I have with me Mr. John DSouza, who is the lead trainer from the English Advantage. He's going to be looking at the chat box throughout this presentation. So if you have any questions while I'm making the presentation, feel free to type it in the chat box. We will address them as we go along, or we'll address them after the presentation, right? So I'm going to begin right now. Thank you for finding time to sit here with us and understand what the Cambridge English program is all about. As you will see on my screen, my first question here is how we can help you improve with our suite of English qualifications. So when I say English qualifications, today I'm going to walk you through all the different qualifications that Cambridge has set out for you in terms of enhancing the English language that you already have or that you might want to possess. Now, there might be some people here who say we want to start right from the letter A with English. There are some people here who say we've got a considerable knowledge about English. We've been through school, we've studied English at school, but when it comes to making presentations, when it comes to speaking in front of people, we find that we fail where confidence is concerned. We find that we are in a position that we can't talk. We find that we are tongue-tied at that moment. We can't find the right words to say. So we're going to take you through all the different qualifications that Cambridge has, all the suites of exams, and the different levels. So what is all this about? Successful language learning requires, what do you think it requires? When you talk about successful language, people who can successfully communicate in any situation, whether it is at the workplace, whether it is in school, whether it is in the social context. How do you define successful language, and what does it require to make a language successful? So how can I for sure say that I'm on the right path? So let's find out what it takes to make someone successful and what it requires. So I think the first thing that you require is motivation. Unless and until I want it, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And so my first step is I want to make my English better. I want to learn English better. I want to be in that position where I can communicate in English at a level that I think is good for me. So you have to start motivating you. And what can motivate you? I think reading, watching films, listening to people speak in English. That is what is going to help you speak better. It's going to motivate you to take this further, a step further for yourself. To build confidence, what do I need to build confidence? So if I want to be successful, I need the confidence in me. And most people that I have come across in this entire teaching career, this 22 to 24 years of life that I've spent in teaching English as a language, most people come to me as, John, I understand English. John, I can read the English paper. I can talk to myself. I can talk at home. But when I'm faced at my workplace, or when my teacher asks me questions, I don't know what happens. Everything just disappears and I lose my confidence. So I think it requires confidence. It should be fun. It should be fun. Without fun, how are you going to learn? It should be fun. So you will understand that as we go along, what we have to offer and how it can be fun for you. Clear objectives. Unless and until I know what I want, you're not going to get there. You're not going to get there unless you are clear in your mind what your objectives are. The right level and content. So when I mean the right level and content, am I at that level where I want to start from here? Unless and until we are giving you language at the level that you are, I could be teaching you anything and it may not make sense. We have got to find the right level and the right content. You have to see who your learner is and base your content on in context of the learner. And finally, I think whatever I teach you or whatever anybody teaches you, you can learn on the YouTube, you can learn through the net, you can learn through in the physical classroom. Unless and until I practice, I'm not going to get there. So practice, practice, practice is what I think will make you perfect. These are the two things. You want to build your confidence, you need to practice. You will get everything else out there in this world. But unless and until you motivate yourself, unless and until you build your confidence by practicing, you will not get there. So, English in preparation for workplaces. We're going to talk about English, how you can prepare for yourself, how you can prepare yourself at the workplace, in your study life, and in the social context. So, in your workplace, what do you require? Then can I have everybody muted, please?
Yes, muted.
Thank you. So what do you require in your workplace? I think understanding and taking notes at meetings, teleconferences. Can I understand what my boss is saying, what my peers are talking about, what the people I am working, the people who I am working with, what are they trying to communicate? Can I make quick notes? Can I understand what they're saying? Can I become part of the conversation, whether it's at the coffee table, or whether it's by the lift? You're going to work and you're standing by the lift at the elevator and you're waiting to enter, and 3 of your colleagues come there and stand with you. Can you make considerable conversation with them, successful conversation with them? Deliver presentations. This is one area that most people say, John, I'm very good at preparing a presentation. Don't ask me to stand in front of 5 people and talk. Can I do that? Can I do that? So what is lacking? John, I can't find the right vocabulary. I don't know. I get tongue-tied. So going back and forth, we'll talk about confidence all the time. Yeah. Read and write reports. So you will have a lot of report writing to do, a lot of reading to do, a lot of stuff that will be given, handed down to you by your peers, by your bosses. You will be giving it to your people who work under you. They will be submitting reports. Can you understand what they are trying to say? Emails. I think that is the call of the day. Almost 93% of the communication today is being done through emails. Can we write effectively, concise, crisp? Am I able to communicate in so little words so that I'm not taking the time of the reader? You know, I, for one, I'm hit by, I think, within an hour, I get hit by at least 25 to 30 mails. When am I going to read all those mails? How am I going to address those mails? So you need to keep your mails crisp, clear, concise, so that the reader can understand what you're saying like that. And yes, understand when and how to use both formal and informal register. So language, when do I need to use formal register and when do I need to use informal register? You'll find that I'm using the word register. It's all about language. It's when can I speak in a formal tone or write in a formal way? When do I need to write informally? Who am I addressing? Who am I talking to? That is going to make all the difference when you're reading or you're writing or you're speaking. Okay, so this is so much about English at the workplace. Let's look at English for those who are preparing for higher education. So there are many students now who have finished school and are looking to further their lives in terms of studies, and they want to go to get themselves educated at the +2 level or the +3 level, or even after they have finished their graduation. So they want to go for their masters, or they want to go for their undergraduate courses. They want to prepare for their life skills. This is the time when most students face a difficulty, because at school it was okay. It was okay. Yes, up to the 12th grade, it was okay. What do I do now when I have to start writing dissertations, when I have to read theses, when I've got volumes of books to read and make information and understand, refer to books, get information? How am I going to do it? So in a nutshell, it's all about preparing, understanding, writing, doing research, making theses, writing theses, making your presentations, all when you are preparing for higher education. There are so many students who want to pursue further education in a country abroad. So when you want to go abroad, I would like to let most of you people here who are already know, but for those who don't, you will have to mandatorily have a qualification in the English language, which means apart from your qualifications at college, you must also be able to show that you have a qualification in the proficiency and use of English. It's only then that you will get your visa. So you can go to any of the websites. There will be parents here who have students who are in the 8th, 9th, 10th, or in the 12th and are planning to pursue an education in a foreign university. please go to the university website. You can take any university across the globe. It will ask for a language proficiency. So where do we go to achieve this? John, you have told me so much about achieving a proficiency. I need a proficiency. I need to hone my skills. I need to get confident. I need to be able to infer. I need to be able. Where do I go to get all this? The one stop. Cambridge Assessment English. It's the premier institute in the world, the organization in the world that caters to the English language. So you have other universities that cater to the English language, like the Trinity College. You have Macmillan, you have Pearson's. They all give you a proficiency. But the premier organization in the world is the Cambridge Assessment English. So who is Cambridge and what is Cambridge? Okay, Cambridge was established, I think, in the year 1806 and rolled out its first exams for proficiency in 1901. You can see how far back we have been looking at proficiency skills in English. Cambridge is also a not-for-profit organization. It does not seek to make profit from the teaching, from the money it collects for teaching or for assessment. There are more than 5 million people who have taken the Cambridge exams till date, and more than 50,000 institutions and 163 countries. I need to change that there. 163 countries, more than 163 countries in the world that recognize the proficiency from the Cambridge English exams. Cambridge is also a joint owner of the IELTS exams, the RELTS, which is aligned with Cambridge. The other institution, of course, being the British Council. But yes, Cambridge, like I said a little while ago, is the premier institution, the premier organization in the world that brings you English language proficiency. But how are we going to go about this? So why do we need to choose Cambridge English then? I think it's about investing in your future. We all look at investing so that I can have a successful life. Many of us, I think, would agree with me, like me, that investing in your future would mean having a comfortable or a financial balance in your bank, a good financial standing in life. But apart from that, I think we also need to invest in education, and which is why we've all woken up to why we need to become professionals in the fields that we are engaged in. So when I talk about professionals, along with that, I think taking the Cambridge English exams will help you secure, put a seal on what you want to do for yourself in life. It is that rubber stamp which I think everybody in the world requires in order to say that I have something to prove my proficiency. I have the qualifications, I have the necessary requirements to be able to stand up and talk for myself. We're talking about skills for life. So preparing for life after school. You will get a certificate for the exams you take. These certificates come along with a qualification. What the qualification is, I'm going to talk about this in a short while from now. It's an external evidence for your success, and it gives you ample opportunity to be able to access outside, within the country, and outside the country. So you have the added advantage to be able to say that I'm going to make it because I have a Cambridge certificate in my hand. How are we going to do this? Apart from the English advantage, the organization that we are now engaged with, Cambridge also is going to support you with a lot of material to help you develop your skills. I think the best way to do it would be through one of its authorized centers. The English advantage is the place for you to be looking for on how to go to Cambridge, because we are an authorized center for Cambridge Assessment English in India. Cambridge is internationally recognized. More than 20,000 organizations trust the Cambridge word. I'd like to give you a small example of a college that I was in about 8 months ago. This was in Hyderabad. I was at a college, and fortunately for me on that day, the campus interviews were being conducted for placement. They were picking up candidates to place in their company, and the company I'm referring to is Wipro. of the number of candidates that they interviewed, there were 7 candidates who had the business English exam certificate from Cambridge. They've taken the business English exams. These 7 candidates were picked up. Today, that college in Hyderabad and a number of other colleges have made it mandatory for students to take the business English exams, because they have understood that there are a number of organizations. And when I say, I'd like to name a few: Johnson & Johnson, Accenture, Philips, you have Bennett and Coleman, that's the Times of India people. Then you have, Denver, can you give me some more names? You have Pfizer. So these are a few companies that look for these qualifications. You have these qualifications along with your qualification, hands down, you can be sure that they are going to employ you. So, like I said, educational institutions, more than 11,000. Corporate users, more than 6,000. Government ministries and organizations. So you have the government that has also decided to make Cambridge English a part of the curriculum in the countries that they are. So there are many countries in the world where the government says that they have to. In India, we are looking at in different districts. Like, for example, if you go to Pune, the district of Pune, the municipal corporation of Pune has got its local schools, about 300 of them, that look at the Cambridge English exams for their students at school, even for the young learners. So you can see how important it becomes to have a qualification from Cambridge. I was talking about qualifications a little while ago. If you look at my screen now, you can see A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, and C2 on the left of your screen. And you will find a number of colors thrown there with some words, C1 advanced, and you got movers and starters. These are all the exams on the right in the colored boxes. But we're going to look at the A1, A2, B1, B2. What's this A1, A2? This is the level of your proficiency. We begin at the lowest level, which is the pre-A1, and go right up to the highest proficiency, which is C2. So what are these levels? The CEFR, the Common European Framework for Reference, is a framework that is designed by the Council of Europe. The Council of Europe is a body that sits and governs the English language and has benchmarked the proficiency. So if I say today that I'm at the C2 level, it means that I have the highest proficiency in the English language. So what do you mean by the highest proficiency? It means that I can read, write, speak, and listen to English in the way the native speakers of English do it. So when you talk about the English people in the English countries, it means that I can understand and speak and listen and read and write in the way they do it. We start with the pre-A1. So that's for the young learners. When I say young learners, somewhere at the age of around 4.5, 5, that's where we start this. And so you will see A1, pre-A1, we have the starters level. So the A1 to the A2 level, you have the starters, movers, and flyers. These are for the young learners. Then you go up to the B1 and B2, which is the upper intermediate. And then you go to the advanced levels, into the higher levels, which are the C1 and the C2 proficiencies. So what are these proficiencies and how do I take them? If I want to take this, how do I do it? So we have Cambridge has 3 levels: the starters, movers, and flyers, which is the pre-A1, A1, and A2. So roughly in India, you can say students who are in the second standard, first or second standard, would be at the pre-A1, the starters level, going right up to the 4th standard, which is the flyers level. So these are students at school. And I'd like to very proudly say that the English Advantage is the only organization in India, and I think across the globe, that caters to a number of schools. We, as a language organization, have teachers who are English language teachers. When I say language teachers, in my coming slides, I will tell you what I mean by language teachers, who go out to these schools. And when I say schools, we have these prestigious schools like the Children's Academy and the Arya Vidya Mandir schools, to name a few, where we go and we train their students during school hours on how to improve their proficiency in English. So that's for the young learners. And this is how the certificate looks. When the candidates finish their training, they take an exam that is prescribed by Cambridge. They will take an exam in reading, writing, speaking, and listening. All these exams are conducted by the Cambridge University from UK. Where you will do these exams here in your schools, in your organizations, or where you are requested to go to take these exams. But your certificates will come from Cambridge. They come from Cambridge, and having an A1, A2, or a pre-A1, these are qualifications. So what I mean by qualifications, let me go one step further before I explain that. We go to the A2, B1, and B2. So you have the key for English test, you have the preliminary English, and the B2 first. So what are these exams? What are these levels? By the time you are reaching your B2, I think students at school have reached their 8th or 9th standard. Now, when I'm talking about students at school, it does not necessarily have to be only for schools. It can be anybody. I have a 74-year-old grandfather who's learning in English, and he's at the A1 level, 74 years old. I think he's the best example. What he tells me, John, is my grandchildren are in the United States of America. They want to chat with me. And I have a difficulty talking to them in English. So can you teach me English? So he is at the A1 level. So when I have been telling you that these are for the young learners at school, it does not mean that it's only for them. It is for the general public, but it is based on the proficiency of the person, like the example that I just gave you. So you move up to the B2, and then you go to take the C1 and the C2. This is how the certificates will look. Now your certificates will come with the marks. If you looked at the starters, movers, and flyers, you had shields on the certificate. But now you will be marked for each exam in reading, writing, speaking, and listening that you take, and you will be given a qualification at A2, B1, or B2. Yes, and then we move to the higher levels. That is the advanced levels. That's the C1 and C2. Now, what's the C1 and C2? I'd like to spend a little time here because most people would have to know this, that the C1 qualifications are those qualifications that you require if you want to migrate or you want to have a very good standing in the organization that you're working. Today, to be able to migrate and to get a resident visa in more than 163 countries in the world, you need to have a C1 proficiency in English. And so you have many people who are aiming to take the C1 exams, the proficiency, that is the advanced level, the C1 advanced exams that are doled out by Cambridge. And this is the time when people who have already started working, people who have graduated, people who have found themselves in the business world, people who want to reside in a foreign country. These are the people who want the C1 proficiency. The C2 is mostly taken by those people who want to have a proficiency in order to be able to teach English to other people. Here are the certificates, and this is how they look. So you will get a marking for 5 skills: reading, writing, speaking, listening, and the use of English. Everything calibrated on a mark sheet along with a certificate, which is separately sent out to you. Now, these are qualifications, I said. So right from the A1 to the C2, these are qualifications. So when you are writing your biodata, when you are writing your resume, in your educational qualifications, so you'll have doctors and engineers and artisans, and you'll have architects, all who will be putting up their qualifications, BCom, BSc, or BArch, MBBS. Along with that, you can write that you are C1 of the CEFR, Cambridge University, UK, because this is a qualification which has a lifetime validity. So let's say there is a student at school who has finished an A2 and for some reason has had to migrate and could not continue his, could not pursue his English language qualifications further. When he grows up, that child can write A2 of the CEFR, Cambridge University. You see, it's an international qualification that you're going to earn right now, sitting here in your country. And it is, think of how much value it will add to your CV to say that I have an international qualification from a premier institution like Cambridge in the world. The necessity for taking these exams, right? I'm going to shift my focus a little. We also have the business English exams. So who takes the business English exams? I was talking about Wipro when they came to the college in Hyderabad to pick candidates for their campus placement. Now, these candidates who are engineering students, who are in going into the marketing world, candidates who are trying to find themselves in the HR industry, these are candidates who go for the business English exams. We call them the BEC exams, BEC, the Business English Certificate. And they are graded from the B1 to the C1 level. B1, B2, and C1, which are the three suites of exams. You have the preliminary, the vantage, and the higher. Candidates take all these three levels and slowly progress from the preliminary level to the higher level. You might want to ask me, why is it not from the starters level? If you can recollect, I just told you that these are candidates who want to become business professionals. They already have a proficiency in English. So we start them at the B1 level. This is how the business English certificates look. These also will be sent out directly from Cambridge after your papers are assessed by Cambridge, which means you write your exams and these papers go to Cambridge for correction. All the exams that I've been talking about are shipped to Cambridge for correction. They're corrected in the UK, and then your marks are sent out to you and to the organization. And after that, it is followed by the certificate. I'd like to stop here and add that the C1 advanced, which I was talking a little while ago, which you require to migrate to a foreign country, the C1 advanced exam is a computer-based exam in India. It is not offered for pen and paper. So it is not a pen and paper exam, it is a computer-based exam. Other than that, for all exams, you have a choice of taking the computer-based exam or a paper-based exam. We also have another exam that is called the CELTA. What is the CELTA? We call it the gold standard for teaching qualification. For those people who want to pursue a career in teaching English as a language like I have done, you would want to take a CELTA. Now, the English Advantage, that is my organization, teaches candidates on how to take these exams and qualify themselves with a certificate, a CELTA certificate from the Cambridge English. So 3 out of 4 English language teaching people who are looking for jobs, they say, we want a CELTA qualification. So if you say that you are going to be an English language teacher in any organization, it would be nice if you have a CELTA qualification in your bag. Having a CELTA qualification in your bag means I have nailed the job that I want for teaching English as a language. Okay, this is a sample of how the CELTA qualification looks like, the certificate. Other than that, we have the TKT, which is the Teaching Knowledge Test. The Teaching Knowledge Test is for teachers and for those people who want to teach English as a language. There are 3 modules and you take 3 papers. These are pen and paper based exams. You study out of a textbook, you prepare for the exams, you take the exams and get certified with bands from band 1 to band 4, band 4 being the highest band. You get certified with bands after taking all the 3 modules of the TKT, the Teaching Knowledge Test. Now you will see that I am going through this a little fast now, because if there are people who want to find out more about this, you can write to us and we will address this separately. Yes. So here are some people who have said what the English language has done for them. So if you will look right in the center of my screen, I have somebody from Sweden who says, her name's Linda Joanna, and she says, it has boosted my confidence and made me believe in my abilities. What a powerful statement to make. I am now confident and I know that I had the English, I had the matter to produce. It was only because of the English language that I fell short. Today, after taking the Cambridge English Cambridge English exams, I feel in that position where I can stand in front of an audience. I can stand in front of whoever it is and speak my mind. I have confidence in my ability. So you see there are a lot of other, I'm going to keep the screen for about half a minute so that you can read what people across the globe. You will wonder why I have not put a slogan from somebody from India, because I'm waiting for you to be those people so that I can put it up here in my next slide, in my next presentation. Yep. Having said all this, I have come to the end of my presentation. I would like to see what you want to know, having heard what I have just said. For the next 20 minutes, I'm going to take your questions, 15 or 20 minutes. I'll take your questions. What you could do is you could raise your hand. So on your screen, you could see that small icon which says raise your hand, and I'll unmute you so you can ask me a question. Alternatively, you could type your question in the chat box. Denver, have you received any questions in your chat box till now? I can see there are 5 chats
Not
here.
yet.
Okay. Do you have any questions to ask? So you can type it in your chat box.
Yes, Sonia Bhatia.
Yes, and what does Sonia Bhatia have to say?
Please unmute yourself.
Yes, Mrs. Bhatia, can you unmute yourself and talk to me?
Yes, good evening, sir. This is Sonia from Hyderabad.
Hi, Sonia. How are you?
Yeah, fine. Thank you, sir.
All well? How is it in Hyderabad?
Yeah, we are quite safe here, I would say.
Good, good, good. Tell me, what is it that you would like to know?
Sir, you have told about 2 qualifications, CELTA and TKT. So
Yes.
what is the difference between them? Because you told both are for English, they are English teaching qualifications.
Right. The TKT, I've got your question. The TKT, thank you for your question. The TKT, the teaching knowledge test, is a pen and paper test. Whereas the CELTA, when we are talking about CELTA, it means that you go into the in-depth, you will learn the nitty-gritties of the English language. When you're taking the TKT, you're not dissecting the English language. You're learning how to teach the language. But when you're doing CELTA, it means you have to actually go into the depths of the English language to learn the entire English language. I'd also like to tell you that there is a vast difference in the fee structure and the kind of input that you would have to do if you're taking the CELTA. The CELTA is a course that you have to attend classes for 4.5 weeks. Whereas the TKT, it would depend on how much time you want to study and take the exam. Both are for teachers who want to improve their ability to teach. Now, CELTA is about understanding the English language, but TKT is about how to teach the English language. Okay.
Okay, so for the teachers like us who are teaching in school, which one you think should be?
I would definitely suggest that you take the TKT, the teaching knowledge test, the 3 modules.
Okay, that will be enough. Okay, yeah, thank you, sir.
Can anybody else, is there anybody else who has a question to ask? Anybody raising your hand? So I've got 54 people sitting here with me now. Anybody has any questions to ask? Yes, got it. Vinisha Mazes. Thank you, Vinisha. Anybody else? You'll have to raise your hand or unmute your mic before you ask me a question.
Jason Pinto.
Who's that?
Yes. Hello, this is Jason Pinto.
Yes, Jason.
I just want to ask that do you have to take an exam before you take the C1 or the B1 or B2? Like, do you have to take an exam to qualify that you can take the C2 exam or whatever exam?
Right. At the English Advantage, what we do is we assess our learners. So if you go to the Cambridge English website, the www.cambridgeenglish.org, you will find that there are pre-testing qualifications. So you can take a pre-test before to find out at what level you are. What we at the English Advantage do is when we assess a candidate through our methods of assessment, we try to place the candidate, the proficiency the candidate is already at, and ask the candidate to take a level higher. So your question was, do I have to take an exam to find out which level I am at? Well, that would depend on whether you want to find out what your proficiency level is first before you take the level, or you could write to us and we will help you in finding the level you are at. Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Jason. Anybody else?
Vinisha Menezes.
Yes, Vinisha, what is it?
Good evening, sir. I'm Vinisha Menezes. I have a query. I am a homemaker right now, and I want to start working, but I don't have any idea like what I should do ahead. And I
Thank you.
have taken a break for the last 8 years. So I want to do something first, learn something, and then look for a job. But I'm not sure what I should be doing.
Thank you, Vinisha. Thank you for your question. It's a very nice and intriguing question because you see, I'm a homemaker and I want to do something. Wow, the world is full of opportunity. But yes, if you're asking me about can I become an English teacher, there is no stopping. Today is the day. What I would suggest, where do you live, Vinisha, if I may ask?
I live in Mumbai.
In Mumbai. So
Yes.
I think once this lockdown is eased and all of that, then could you type my number in the chat box for everybody? Vinisha, you would like to take down my number. For those
Yes,
who
sure, I'll
don't
do
have my phone number, then you could put your number and mine in the chat box. Vinisha, do call me and we can sit and discuss this. Maybe you would, after our discussion, decide that you want to become an English language teacher, and we could carve and decide a path that you need to follow in order to become an English language teacher. I'd like to
Okay.
add here that my teachers at the English Advantage who teach, we have 22 teachers in our organization. Very surprisingly, around 20 to 22% of my teachers are people who are homemakers like you, but who had a considerable proficiency in English. They came to me, got trained, took the TKT, have a C1 qualification in English, spent 6 to 8 months in training, and today they are successful teachers of the English language. So Vinita, this could be your story too.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Is there
Thank you,
anybody
sir.
else? You're welcome, Vinisha. Anybody else? I got 2 chats. Okay, you can see my phone number in the chat box. Please take that phone number. There is my number and Denver's number out there. Do below follow with a question with you after this presentation is over. If you're hit with a question and you really want to ask, you can ask it there. Yes, do I have somebody come in?
There's a question in the chat box by Janani Gracie. Sir, I'm planning to do
Yes.
my MBA in UK. After my undergraduate, I'm planning to take a break and get work experience because that's what universities expect us. So if I resume my studies after say 2 to 3 years, which exam would be more suitable for me?
When you say which exam, are you talking for asking about an English proficiency exam?
So she wants to do MBA in UK.
Yeah, so she wants to do a MBA, but she says, what should if I resume my studies after 2 to 3 years, which exam would be? So when you're talking about the Cambridge English exams, I think what you'd require is a C1. A C1 advanced is what you require. So please take the C1 advanced because that will also help you secure a residential visa when you require it after. The PR becomes easier. So Janani Gracie, I hope you have heard what I've just said. You have the phone number there. Feel free to pick up the phone and call me later. You could call me between 9 a.m. and 12 noon on any of the working days, weekdays from Monday to Friday. 9 a.m. and 12 noon from Monday to Friday. For any reason, if I don't answer your call, please drop me a small message. This number is also available on WhatsApp. So you could send me a message on WhatsApp or a normal message. And you can be sure that I will address your question and I'll call you back. Anybody else? Yeah, Janani, I can see that you've read my message. Thank you too. Right, Denver. So we call this a day and I really am grateful to all of you. How much does the exam cost? Jason Pinto. Well, the current pricing of the English exams for the pre-A1 starters is somewhere around 2,400. Yeah, it is 2,400, 550 rupees. 2,550 rupees is a starters exam. And if you're taking the C1 advanced, it is 10,000 rupees now. The C1 advanced is 10,000 rupees for the exam. I think that's a very good price that Cambridge has placed on this exam because this is a qualification. We have to remember that it is a lifetime qualification which you're going to get from the Cambridge University in the UK, which you're going to write out in your CV. So it's a very nice pricing. Of course, if you're asking me about the TKT, then you have different different pricing for the TKT. It's somewhere between 7 and 10,000 rupees. The CELTA exam is pegged at 1.25 lakhs. So, Mrs. Bhatia, Sonia Bhatia, if you will see the difference between the TKT and the CELTA exam. The TKT is pegged somewhere around 10,000 rupees, whereas the CELTA is pegged at 1.25 lakhs. Yeah, anybody else? Does the price include the book? This is the exam fee. But if you are going to see, there are two things here. There are two components. One is candidates come to us saying that we will prepare on our own. And there are candidates who say that, no, we also want training. The training and the book fee is separate. Now, if you enroll for this exam, yes, I will give you some material by way of soft copies. But if you want a book to study for these exams, there are a number of books. I would prescribe the book that would most suit you. And the books are placed somewhere between 300 and 600 rupees for the book. So that is exclusive of the exam fee that I just mentioned. So yes, Jason, your question, it is a separate fee. I would like to also tell you here that the English Advantage is now teaching online. We have started teaching candidates for all suites of exams online. We have just finished our C1, C2, a batch of C1 and C2 where we had 21 candidates from different parts of India who took classes for 15 sessions of 2 hours each. We spent 30 hours of teaching. We charge them just 4,500 rupees for the teaching. The exam fee is separate. And we trained online for 2 hours each session, 15 sessions. So we have started training online, and we are going to prepare modules for students to take the training for young learners as well. So if parents, you want your children to enroll in these courses, we have an online training as well that the English Advantage is looking at. Do write to us or call me, and I will tell you how we are going to go about this. Alan Pereira business ad. Yeah, somebody says that at British Council, CELTA is 1.5 lakhs. Yes, it is 1.5 lakh at the British Council. The British Council is also an authorized center of the Cambridge English exams like the English Advantage, and they have pegged their exams at 1.5 lakhs. The best part is that now Cambridge says that you can do CELTA online. So we are also going to offer CELTA online, and we might peg it at 1.2 lakhs for that. So if there's anybody who's interested, do write to us. Thank you, Alan. What is the website? Where you do? Denver, could you type the website? It's www.cambridgeenglish.org. Okay, Jason, can you see that's the website there out on your chat box?
Yes, Shefali.
Shefali? Come in, Shefali.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Shefali. What can I do for you?
Yeah, sir, I just wanted to know, actually, I have a knowledge about those exams, the Cambridge Assessment English exams, the FCE and all those. So I have trained the students in Hyderabad for those. But I just want to know, how to get through to the other side of the curtain. Like, suppose if I want or wish to be the examiner of these exams. So what is the path or trajectory I need to follow?
Thank you, Shefali, for your question. Well, Shefali, as I said a little while ago, the English Advantage is now in the process of recruiting examiners, and we are looking for examiners. We have examiners, a good base of examiners in Hyderabad. You will have to write to me. Denver has put out my email address there. Do write to me, and I will send you out a form which you'll have to fill out. If you meet the requirements after vetting your CV and that form that you fill out, I will then forward it to the people in Cambridge who will get in touch with you on how you can become an examiner with the English Advantage. Thank you very much, Shefali.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Write to me. I'd like to keep in touch with you.
Yeah, sure, sir. Same here.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, this is Hina from Bhopal.
Yes,
I
Simran.
have a question. I run a school in Bhopal, that is Sri Bhavans Bharati Public School, and I want to start a center. Like you, Shifali just now asked about that she wants to be an examiner, or you are also looking for an examiner. But we want to become a center of these exams. So can you please guide us that how should we go about it,
There
and
are
what
two.
is the
There are
procedure?
two
What are
things here.
the
Yeah, thank you for your question.
Yeah.
There are two things that you could do. That you might want to start by becoming a preparatory center. To become a preparatory center, you would have to write to me, and it would mean that you are a preparatory center preparing students to take these language exams under the English Advantage's wings. So you will come directly under our wings. Alternatively, like the
Okay.
English Advantage, you can become an authorized center in Bhopal, for which you will have to write to Cambridge directly. But that's a long process. My advice to you here at this juncture would be start by becoming a preparatory center. Again,
Okay.
I'd like to tell you, write to me and I'll tell you the path you need to follow and what you need to do in order to become a preparatory center in Bhopal. When I say a preparatory center, preparing students for taking the Cambridge English exams, like you just questioned me about.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
have
yeah.
preparatory centers across India. So we have centers in Vishakhapatnam, centers in Hyderabad, centers in Bangalore, and now we're opening up centers in Kerala. We have centers in Pune and a number of centers here in Mumbai.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll definitely drop an email to you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Anybody else? Okay, I think I have managed to address. But like I said a little while ago, you have my email address there and my phone number in the chat box. Do write it down. Jennifer, could you copy that and paste it once more in the chat box? The email addresses, the Cambridge website, and our phone numbers. Do write
Excuse
to
me,
me.
sir. Your number is not shared in the chat window. I request you to please share your number. Your
Okay,
number is not available.
We're going to type it. We're going to put it out there before we sign out.
Okay.
Then can you do that again, please? Copy and paste it again. Okay, can you see it on your screen now? Can you see it there on your screen?
Okay, there's a
You
question.
might want to take
Yeah,
a
yeah.
photograph. You could take a
Yes,
photograph
yes.
on your phone.
Yes,
There's a
yes,
question.
yes, we can see.
What does the LTCL next to your name stand for?
Okay, Jason Pinto, what does the LTCL? Okay, so there's Jason, we spoke about the CELTA, the CELTA exam. After the CELTA, you have the Delta. The CELTA, the C stands for a certificate in the English language teaching qualification. After that, you have the Delta, which is the diploma. Now, what I did to get qualified to be able to teach in English across the globe is I took the exams from the Trinity College in London in association with the Oxford University. They have the certificate and the diploma. The diploma is the Delta exam, like the Delta exam, the diploma in TESOL, teaching English to speakers of other languages. So that is the highest qualification that one can achieve in the English language world to be able to teach English. Now, having passed that exam, you then get a qualification, which is the LTCL. So it's a licentiate that you get from the Trinity College London to say that you now have the highest teaching qualification. There is no qualification above this, above the LTCL, to be able to understand or to teach the English language. So that's the full form, the license of the Trinity College London. It's something like when you have the Dr. John, I preferred writing the LTCL instead of the doctor. Having taken my master's in English with English language teaching, I went on to pursue the CELTA, the certificate in teaching English, and then took the diploma. So I have the diploma in TESOL from the Trinity College London, which is the highest qualification, which allows me to write LTCL after my name. Yeah, thank you very much. Is there anybody else who would like to have any things sorted before we sign out? So that's it. Thank you very much for joining me today. All you people who have made time to sit through this 1 hour in the evening on a Monday. I do hope that you stay safe, stay put, at least till the lockdown is eased and we can come out. And I think that it is then that we will have to take more care of ourselves. Till then, Do write to me, keep in touch, and we hope to bring you more webinars of this kind, specifically designed for any particular suite. So we might want to look at only the young learners, only the CELTA qualifications, or only, and so we can dissect the entire suite of the exam. Thank you very much. God bless and good night, everybody.